What's up with y'all, man? It's Red Dragon on deck. Welcome back to the Red Dragon Archive channel. If you new here, you most likely ain't gonna know what type of content I do, but if you give me a couple seconds slash minutes, hopefully you catch on. This is an awareness channel, by the way, an awareness channel, which means I talk about any and everything across the board and try to break down and go into a deeper, analysis on it. Now, for people that do know and is here, usually I go off of a video to commentate on. But this is coming purely from the heart because I feel like sometimes I don't get to say stuff like this based off of the nature of the videos I be trying to make. But this is a directness of where my thought process be when I'm also talking about situations and making, awareness analysis on these different videos. What I want people to realize is, once again, when I say I'm not in the matrix simply only means what the masses believe, what this power structure of this system wants you to believe, and it's ran exactly the way they want it ran. That's the only thing the matrix means. We got a group of people that said shit should be like this, and nobody's batting the eye when it's off. It's not that it got to necessarily be bad, but once you're starting to have personal problems in your life and life ain't good, sometimes being human shouldn't be this damn hard. So long story short, this is where I'm coming from with it. This is the analysis that I'll be hitting across all situations, and this has been awareness. Once again, this is on a higher level. The point of this video is me to say this. The reason why I say nothing is never one-sided, because it ain't. We have all these different conversations between men and women, all these different races. Black people commit all this crime, but then white people don't. You know what I'm saying? I'm saying that's mainstream. This is what they want people to believe, From feminism standpoint, men create all these, doing all the raping, but women don't do no molestation and no raping. They don't speak on that. They only speak on the one side. And the side that gets messed up the most is when the masses decides to agree, and then there's a certain way how people walk around with that mentality. Because now people is, if you're a woman, you kind of looking at every dude like he could be a rapist. And that's what's called speaking a little bit of truth in. In truth, could every dude be a rapist if they just wanted to? Yes, but who can't? That's what I mean. It's like the thought process ain't there. So before I go on, I want it to be known before people get to cutting this video off. The primary point of not being in the matrix is understanding that there is never going to be perfect. You're always going to have somebody in one group doing some fucked up shit. Don't matter who it is or what it is. Yeah, black people might commit all these homicides, but white people commit majority of the pedophilia, the rape, the kidnap, statistically. Asians or Hispanics is looked at as more drug heavy. They bring all the drugs across the border. This shit is set up. The game is set up for once you see one side like that, or once you see it like that, you're not even thinking past up into percentages. Like I told you, I don't never argue all here. I only argue percentages. So with that being said, the examples I've given, Asians doing money laundering, etc., whatever the case, everybody group gonna have their fucked up thing. So there's never gonna be perfect. But these other content creators, they don't get to this point. They'll keep putting it on one side. What side do you get red pill? This is women nature. Women gonna do this, women gonna do this, and women gonna do that. Men, pink pill shit. Men gonna do this, men gonna do that, men gonna get over. And that's just the way they see it, without realizing that, do you understand that nothing's gonna be perfect? God is the only being that will be able to make this world perfect. That's already been said, already been told. This is why you should never argue all. You're going to have good and you're going to have bad. If it wasn't perfect in God's world in the beginning, once free will entered the chat, I'm about to sound like Dr. Umar. Once free will entered the chat, that opened up a whole new door for there's no roboticness here. Anybody at any time could damn near do anything at any time, at any point. And once you start putting it on a group, because maybe a group of people maybe a group of people of that same group. So I'm gonna just try to make, because I'm using group twice and I don't want to confuse. So let's say it's a group of black people But within that group of black people, there's a smaller group of black people that just want to do evil shit. That has to be understood first. That's gonna happen regardless. That was the story of the angels. In the beginning, everything was good. Everybody was in heaven, up until the devil misled with his own free will and took a third of the stars with him. What do you think happens once you translate that into humans? It's the same thing. The majority most likely always going to be probably good and passive for the most part. Nobody really wants to be doing evil shit. But then you're going to have a loud, evil minority. And in some cases, I won't lie, sometimes the majority of the minority is actually good. There will be cases where evil just starts to spread way more than good, and then there's going to be a small good group versus a majority evil group. And in that case, a lot of times good equals passive, meaning there ain't going to be any real battles. There ain't going to be no real warriors to go against the grain. So once again, I'm bringing all this up to make a point that if you go out in this world and you thinking every bad incident that happened from one motherfucker or a couple let me just say that, from a couple people from a group, anybody can cherry pick a situation and be like, see, that's all of them. You can cherry pick any situation, then you throw statistics into it. Look, they can say it's not all, but look how many of them do this. Look how many of them do that. Now we into the numbers game. So I was just trying to say that from this point on, when I'm going through these videos and I'm trying to do breakdowns, understand I'm not grifting. I'm not trying to pick the most best sounding argument because that's what the internet gonna agree with. No, I don't rotate like that. Right is right for me, wrong is wrong. And then I'm gonna say when I think, hey, this is evil and I'm with it, or this is good and I'm with it. I'm not gonna sit here and try to twist what the fuck it is my point. So yeah, I just wanted to come in, say that, get that out there. Hopefully as I don't want to say a disclaimer, but I guess in a sense a disclaimer, because there's too many people that make videos the way, commentary type videos, and they don't really put at where they personally stand on it. You kind of have to follow them to hear and see where they stand on it versus them just giving it to you straight raw and letting you know this is how it is. My last thing I will say this for everybody that probably didn't, and I probably should have said this way earlier, because all the atheists didn't click off the goddamn video right now anyway. Ain't no atheist like, oh, he's one of them black Christian God loving people. Yeah, no, and I'm far from being holy smoly and all that kind of stuff, and I already understand the red, because see, that's too much other shit I gotta address before somebody say it. But anyways, if you is atheist, don't believe in God, that's cool, that's fine. I'm not one of these people that's pushing nobody to believe anything. My thing is, if it don't make sense, if God to you don't make sense, fine, that's cool. I don't give two F's. My pinnacle point is, even if you're an atheist, you also have to understand that this world ain't gonna be perfect in general. Then the man cannot make this world perfect. There's always gonna be somebody there that's gonna do evil and good. That's how I would say it to an atheist, in case an atheist have an argument of there is no God, there ain't gonna be no, and maybe atheists might also agree with what I just said. They're simply in their world, there's just simply never be, quote unquote, a perfect world or a perfect peaceful world, which in that I would agree with them. I would agree. If it ain't no God, then this shit ain't gonna never be peaceful. That's how I see it. That's what it is. In my world, I don't expect peace and unity across everything and across the board, unless there is a God, because that's the only, there has to be somebody powerful than man to put man into submission. That's my point. If there's nobody more powerful than man to put him into submission, then there ain't gonna be no submission. It's just gonna be this shit on and on forever. People gonna be getting fucked up in big groups, small groups, evil, good. That shit just gonna be going on forever. Because you can't forget, sometimes for every solution you got, there's people out here that want to bring up a problem for every solution you do bring up. They don't want to hear the solution. They just want to, well, what about this problem? Man, it's gonna be problems then. The fuck, I'm not about to keep going on and on back and forth with you. My point ain't to say all problems is extinguished. My point is saying, understand that, quit putting everybody or all this shit in one boat. Sometimes it ain't even that. You have to be more cognitive of what you're saying and what you're doing. With that being said, man, it's Red Drakey Drake. I'm out here 3,000. I'll catch y'all the next one. Y'all know what to do if y'all enjoying the content here, man.